What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy casual Friday, by the way. So Dr. Kevin and I were like, let's just go live on LinkedIn. Why not? Like, what's the big deal? Like, let's go have a conversation with people and with each other and talk about stuff and just open up and start the weekend because it's the freaking weekend. So why not?
Well, that's the thing I was thinking about, the fact that it's been a full week for most of us. These late winter, almost spring, we're off the hook busy. And I was thinking about myself. My mind is so filled with all the stuff that I've focused on and trying to manage as I'm managing my business and my clients and myself and my own consciousness and my kids and my family and my dog and my wife and all of this stuff, my projects and my book. How on earth do I get all this stuff out of my head so I can just relax and enjoy?
Oh my. Yeah. It's like you almost have to it feels kind of like a checklist, isn't it? Like you kind of have to go you have to kind of close every little folder in your mind in order to relax. Because if you don't do that, it's like you're just like, I don't know. For me, I'm like, I'm going to be thinking about it all weekend and be anticipating the weekend opposed to like closing out things.
Yeah. So what's your magic formula? Help us. How do we get this stuff out of our heads in a way that doesn't haunt us? And I mean, first of all, let me say, I work with so many business owners. This is notoriously an issue, right? We can't put it down. We can't close it. It's work haunts us at all hours. What's a technique that has worked for you that I could learn from, we could all learn from?
So I'm a visual person.
Me too.
I need to I don't even know where it is. I think it's charging. I live in my Remarkable. So I have a Remarkable too. I'm going to talk about it again because I talk about it almost every time I see people. And I'm drawing pictures. I'm writing, taking notes. And on Fridays, usually I'm just like, what is necessary that has to get done right now? And then anything that can wait is just like, I take those items, I copy them, and I paste them onto Monday. For whatever reason, my brain is like, that's all I need. I won't think about them. And it's done. So simple.
Interesting. I love it. I'm the visual as well. And I have whiteboards and flip charts and pages of notes everywhere. And I always hate to erase my whiteboard because it just captures that moment. But then as soon as I capture it, it's kind of done and I'm on to the next moment. So it's kind of almost a cathartic moment when I do the big erase and start over. Think, what are my goals now? What do I need to focus on? And it's like really being able to find that line between what are the strategic goals and the ideas I'm moving towards and the small minutia day-to-day things that we juggle like 100 things in my head that need to get done. That sometimes if I don't write those down, it's overwhelming.
How often do you look at your milestone goals? Like, is it weekly, monthly? Like how often?
Well, I'm training myself to get back into rehearsing them daily. Now, lately I've fallen out of that cadence because what I realized is I didn't have a consistent discipline that was moving me anywhere. So at the beginning of the year, I've always been really good about having goals, but this year I kind of put the goals down and said, my goal is to do a couple things every day. Write every day. Every day I publish on LinkedIn. Every day I publish on Facebook. Every day I write a blog. So I'm writing every morning. And I'm also doing podcasting. So every day I'm making sure I'm connecting with podcasters and doing that. So right now, up from the beginning of the year till now, my discipline has only been to behave a certain way every day. In the same way people get into their exercise routine, I'm trying to have a habit that's going to, I believe, pay off for me and helping to amplify some of the messages I put out there. So that being said, now I'm at a point. I love that you're asking this because I haven't really had clarity of what my large goals are lately. Just trying to get into a discipline and routine. Now I can start to orient that towards a higher level of thinking. Okay, for what? What is the goal? I've had goals. I've worked with organizations before that would have great goals and never come anywhere close to them. Like, okay, they got to be
Mm.
grounded somehow. And how do you, well, so I turned the question towards you. How do you A, ground your goals, and B, how often do you look at those? Not goals, but maybe the larger the vision of where you're going.
Okay, so it's so funny that we're having this. I can't believe we're having this conversation. So just yesterday, so I have this small community. I don't even talk about it publicly, but it's called Mindset Matters. And it's like me giving back and helping other people see that they have the power already within themselves to become and create whatever they want, right? And it's just kind of it's this step of realizing that there's corporate residual all around you that could be impacting who you are, etc. Anyway, so
Is
recently they
is
is
impacting who you are.
is impacting. Well,
You might not see it, but it
I
is.
mean, the CEO of LinkedIn, is predicting 10 years, 9 to 5 will be obsolete. So we're just going to say, yes, it is for the time being. But we were talking about daily routines a couple of weeks ago, and they asked me like, oh, so how do you get so much done? And so I was like, oh, I just have a daily routine. It's a Google Doc, and it's broken down to every single day. So like Sunday through Saturday, I want to accomplish certain things. Of course, I'm not like a workhorse. I'm not trying to fill out every single moment.
Mhm.
But there are things, like you said, that you want to get done every single day, and you want to be accountable to yourself. And what's really cool about this is like, it's a really easy way to increase confidence, self-confidence in yourself when you accomplish something.
Mhm.
And just reflection, like what actually impacted me from not doing the thing. So you're almost like self-awareness of shiny objects. So like that's really why I created the daily routine thing, just to kind of
Mhm.
just go. I have big dreams, big goals. And so it takes some time. It's not like you could write it all out once. It's like it's a process. And so where do I start? I start with really what are the drivers? Like what's the big gargantuan goal that I'm trying to achieve and accomplish in my life?
Mhm.
It's related into 3 categories, like life, health, wealth, and relationships. Like health, like where am I like how do I feel emotionally, mentally, and physically? Wealth, like where are we financially, investments, business, and then relationships. How am I with other people that I love and, associates, connections, and stuff like that? And just kind of who is that brand, if you will, the world calls, and stepping back to what are some of the baby steps that I need to take in order to get there. How often do I do this? I do it as often as I need to. Like when I start to knock things out, especially like because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, it's just giving myself freedom to say that I get to evolve my daily routine whenever I want to. But I'm choosing to stay as focused as I possibly can.
Mhm.
And so recently, because you were pointing out like what's behind you. So like I totally went Beautiful Mind a few days ago this week, and it's because I was using my brain as storage. And how it is, like you just kind of think about things and you're like, oh yeah, I'll get to it, or oh, that's a really good idea.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
as a creative, I need to take it out of my brain so that I can put other things in it that are more like memories, not thoughts. And so
Mhm.
I just kind of dumped portions of it out this week and kind of put it together as puzzle pieces. And so just kind of like the next phase of my business in how I'm going to streamline things, operations, automations, and just kind of stay ahead of a lot of the shifts and changes in the market.
Isn't it one of the most fun things to do and satisfying to actually get it out, to manifest it just
Yeah.
on paper? And
Yeah.
then my experience over the course of my lifetime, when I've gone through transitions, it was always that a big piece of paper and write it all out, and then to watch it come into being, to watch like major life changes moving across the country, and like, oh, I wrote it down, and then slowly, slowly, I say it's like a month later, I'm living in Montana and I have a good job and I'm
Wow.
in grad school or whatever. Just
So cool.
it all comes together. If you can visualize it, I think there's power in externalizing it. So it's
Hmm.
not only in your head. It makes it almost the first step towards manifestation is bringing it out of your head. So now you can look back at it and see it. Now, I'm curious, when you do this, I think about like the left brain and the right brain. To what extent do you use pictures? Do you use colors? The left brain is very script driven, and some people will write everything, on their pad, black and white, and that speaks to part of us. But I don't think it speaks to the whole brain. How do you activate the whole brain in that process?
So naturally, I am a whole brain thinker. So I'm thinking in spreadsheets on the technical side, and then creatively. And so a lot of people just don't understand how I can put it together, but that's, my clients see it when they're asking me questions about like strategic questions, and I'll go through and I'm painting the picture and also giving them like stats and data at the same time. And they're like, whoa, like that's a lot. So how do I process through it? It's just so ingrained in me. I can't really think of it. I did use AI. I was actually talking to my AI who knows me while I was writing it out. And I was like, can you record and pull up these stats on X, Y, and Z and store them in this, like make a notepad of this and da-da-da. Like I'm just kind of like going through it so that I don't have to do that later on, which is another like hack. But so yeah, that's kind of how I'm working now.
Yeah, using the resources. I love it. Using AI. And one thing I found when I talked about that discipline, so it's very similar to what you're talking about, that the daily structure. And for me, it's that discipline. And I find that it's tough. The tough part is the daily discipline is a creative process. And a creative process is not something you can just check off the list. It takes a lot of sweats and it takes a lot of heavy lifting in my mind. And it's not always neat and tidy that I can do it in 20 minutes. Yeah. So I found that by having a complete commitment to that daily process, I'm finding other stuff that is not as important, stuff that would have distracted me in the past, sometimes will fall off the schedule. And I don't need to be focused on this other stuff. It's a distraction. But having clarity around what those steps are that are getting me to the big picture. Now, back to the question you asked, how often do I look at the big picture? And I know one thing I've done a lot that's really helped me is just the daily affirmation, right? To be able to train my brain over and over and over. I am growing my business. I am achieving a certain revenue level. And when I've done that, it's surprising how quickly that is manifest in my life, in my world. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like if I didn't care about science, I would think it's all woo-woo, but it's not. It's science. So do you do the mirror exercise when you're doing your affirmations?
Say more.
So like, are you looking at yourself while you're reciting this so that you can actually plug into your subconscious mind at the same time?
I do it a multitude of different ways, depending on where I am. So I'll have actually a Post-it in my car that's on my dashboard. So I'm reading it there. In my mirror in the morning, it's on there. It's on my mirror. So when I'm getting ready in the morning, brushing my teeth, there it is. I'm reading it and then I'm speaking it over and over and over.
Yes.
I have it in the back of my phone. So when I'm in line, I pull it off and there it is. And I'm rehearsing it again and again. The I am statements, I call it. Who is the person I am evolving into? Because the person I am currently is not the person who is able to achieve the goals that I have for myself. I must evolve and grow into that. So it's really about rewiring. I grew up around a dad who worked for GM 34 years, and that was what you did. And that became kind of part of my neural fabric.
Yes.
And nothing wrong with it. But if I want to evolve beyond that, I need to create something that replaces those old neural pathways.
Yep. Exactly.
So it's the rehearsal over and over and over again. And then the company I keep, right? So I love this conversation with you. Somebody else, a fellow traveler on the path who speaks a similar language and understands how powerful our minds are in creating our reality. To have kinship and fellowship with folks like you is so essential, because otherwise we just end up feeling a lone voice in the wilderness. And especially if you're a business owner, right? How often I have one business owner I'm working with now. He said, he was very clear yesterday. I don't get to talk to my family about this. you don't talk to your family about money, right? Generally, you don't talk to your
Yeah.
siblings about it. It can stress out your partner. So you just, hey, everything's okay. Don't worry. We got it. And I don't have to put that burden on my spouse. He was the same way. But then who does he end up talking to about? And because
Right.
of that, that's the beautiful thing in having a fellowship with somebody else is you have a place where you can put it out there,
Oh
not
yeah.
only in the mirror, but to another human being. And that's part of it.
Yeah.
When you do it to the mirror, you're witnessing yourself. How
Hmm.
powerful is it when you actually own it boldly enough to state where you're going, what your goals are to another person? Then there's no going back, right?
There's no going back. It's like accountability 101, 100%.
Mhm.
Like two things that I pulled out from what you just said. The I am statement. Now, it works positively, but it also works negatively. And typically people, will say things unknowing that they're saying it to themselves and deprogramming themselves
Mhm.
from the work they're
Mhm.
doing. So they're like, affirmations don't work. And then they're like, I'm so dumb. And it's like, because you're telling yourself that. Use like the
Mhm.
power of words. Cause
Mhm.
I am is like, it's a programming statement.
Well,
Yeah.
in my mind, I go back to the original teaching of the Buddha and a core premise in Christianity. It all
Yeah.
begins with the word. With your
Yeah.
thoughts, you create the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. Ah, beautiful. Look at that neural pathway. Not only are you
Yeah.
saying that, thinking that with your conscious mind, it's strengthening a neurological pattern in your brain, and the two
Hmm.
play off each other. That's why for me the I am is so key because it is now allowing you to actually exercise your free will.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a pattern playing
Ooh.
itself out. Most people, it's
So
so
good.
rare how many people exercise their free will. We think we are, but we're really just playing out patterns.
Mm.
We're playing out patterns that, as you said, we programmed in the first 3, 5, 7, 10 years of our life. Now we play them out. Here I am, 40, 50 years later, playing out the same patterns.
And you don't even know it. You're just like, this is just how life is.
Yeah, that's right.
And how powerful awareness is, right? Like, oh man, we could go down the rabbit hole, but like how powerful awareness is. So, okay. So like if we're going to give everybody a valuable thing, just as like take away from this
Hmm.
conversation, because this was
Hmm.
so powerful. Okay. So what would it be? What are we thinking?
Well, can I just riff a little bit out loud and
Yeah.
we'll see. So my first
Okay,
thought
cool.
is, the world is not a logical place. The world
Mhm.
is an infinite place. We limit it and constrain our engagement in the world through our beliefs. And I think the beliefs are our beliefs of what we think is okay, who we think we are the biggest inhibition. When you strip away and let go of that and stand vulnerably in the world, you start to recognize it's an infinite place. You can do
Yeah.
anything, absolutely anything, that if you believe it and you work towards it and have a vision of it. I've seen amazing thing happen in my life. I've seen it in a lot of other people's lives that kind of take that quantum leap. Again, I go
Yeah.
back to growing up working blue collar. Oh, this is what you do. You get a good job and you make $50,000 a year working for the car companies. Brilliant. No, you can make $50,000 a month. You can make $50,000 a week.
In a
What do you
day.
want to do? Yeah, in a day, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
real. People do that, but we just don't know how to see it because
Yeah.
that framework kind of allows us to see just nothing more than kind of a projection of our own belief set. When you
Mhm.
change the beliefs, you change what you see. That's the magnetic
Mhm.
magic of how our brains work. I love it. So, what is that thing? What's the
Yeah.
one thing we can leave people with, Melinda?
Hmm. Gosh, that was so good. I 100% agree with everything you just said. And I think at the end of the day, it's one of the causes of change is believing that you can believe. So right, like,
Believing you can change. Yeah.
oh, nothing. It can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. Like, how do they get so successful? Like, just those thoughts. So I would say, I would challenge those who are listening and watching to challenge yourself when you feel that, like for us, we could say that, oh, yeah, 6 figures, we could do 6 figures in a day. I've done 6 figures in a day. It's cool. So, like, what is like when I said that, what kind of hit you? Like, what was that Was there abrasiveness? Was that, and it might not be six figures. It could be 1 million. It could be 100 million, whatever it is per day. Like whatever the holdback is,
Mm-hmm.
it literally is just programming, because like Dr. Kevin just said, there's no limit to what you can do. It's infinite. It's just like you could do pretty much anything you would desire to. So wherever you're feeling pushback on something and saying that can't be possible, or that isn't possible, or I can't understand, that usually is an indication that that is a place where you want to reprogram, and you're stepping into that by belief, like believing that is possible. Easy way to do this is just like ask chat, be like, hey chat, who are the people that are making $1 billion a day, right? Like just make it normal, be in that
Normalize it.
environment of other people.
Normalize it.
Yeah, because you're just normal. And what is the definition of normal, right? Something that we're just comfortable with. So we're just going to step ourselves into a different phase of normal, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but the longer you stay in there, man, everything else looks completely different.
It changes the landscape. And one thing too, when you think about beliefs about money is nothing more than currency. It's a current. It's not actually a real thing. It's a flow, and it's infinite, right? It's a value that we believe. We have a belief that we become attached to around what it is, and it limits everything. When you get rid of that, suddenly you can step deeper into the flow.
That's so good. That's so good. For those that are like, I need to hold my money. I have to save my money. I can't spend my money. It's a current. And so what happens with a current, when you stop it, it doesn't work. It goes somewhere else. You're like, where's my money going? It just kind of flies out. It's because it needs to go. It's like it's supposed to stay in the club. There's nothing you can do about it. It is energy. What's the definition of energy? Like just we can talk about this all day long. You can see I'm a nerd at heart. I love understanding why we do things, so that I can I can do anything. And that's just proven to be true as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as someone who helps people unlock that. And it's the daily routines. Because like the reason why I even went down that rabbit hole is because I wanted new habits. And I said, I don't really like being like my clock being dictating when I go to bed, when I have dinner, when I feed the dogs. Like I look at the clock, oh, it's 10 o'clock, it's time to bed. Like, why is the clock telling me what to do? Why don't I figure out what I want to do with time, right? And so instead of spending a whole bunch of time watching TV, as an entrepreneur, I'm focused on like growing a business, spending time with my family. And then I'm scheduling time for TV, right? This is like a completely different mindset. So it started with habit. And then once I figured out I wanted a new habit, I needed to create it. You have to have a new routine, because it has to be reprogrammed in your mind. And once you reprogram in your mind, you make that decision, then you want to be around other people that believe in that same thing. So it makes it easier for you to step into that new identity. And then, of course, you receive it at the other end, because it's a currency. I love that. You just said
it is. And it's magnetic. That's the beautiful thing. Your thoughts create it. So I love it, to bring it all together, right? To be able to have an encouragement for everybody listening. Unload, put down the burden, write it down, allow yourself to just put it all down somewhere, visually depict it, all the stuff you're carrying in your mind. And then to almost like objectively detach, like you're watching yourself in a movie, and ask yourself some big questions. What are the disciplines I need? Are the disciplines taking me the direction I want to go? What is that? If anything were possible and money were no object, and it were up to me, what would I create and move that direction? Build the small disciplines and build the discipline of belief and clarity of that vision in your mind's eye. It is the formula to go anywhere you want to go.
100%. Yeah. So cool. Oh, this is so much awesome. Okay. So like, happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully Friday. This was a beautiful casual Friday for your life, and just kind of slow down, let go, check those things off, move them to, just do what you need to do to just allow yourself to breathe, because there is where you create, right? So Have a great weekend. Thanks so much, Dr. Kevin. I appreciate
Be
you.
whole, be whole. Yeah, I appreciate you as well, Melinda.
All
Cheers.
right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.